this. There we are. We're
14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome into the Put It in the Book show. Back at it again. Spring training is here. We are ready to go, and we're ready to go win a World Series championship. Is what we're trying to do here. I am Steve. I got Keith. Oh, we're gonna pour it on. I got Keith right on over here.
What up?
Oh,
Let's go Mets, baby. 2023.
It's here, baby. It's here. We're ready. We're big spenders. Everybody's pissed off at us. Rodriguez, what's going on, sir?
To be hated and envied. Love it.
So great. It's so great.
Talk about
now we all know what producer Joe feels. Producer Joe, how's it been hanging? Is he back there now?
He's in the closet.
Upgrade. He's in the closet.
Whoa.
Wow.
Santa finish.
I'm dead.
Is that a glory hole closet, Rodriguez?
Hang on.
Oh my God. What is that about?
There it is. There it is, off the rails.
It's been a long winter, man. It's been a long, cold winter.
Down in Florida, right?
apparently, I guess it could be that, Keith. Then I guess it's a long, cold winter for producer Joe. Yeah.
Long and cold.
Emotional damage.
Yes.
Good thing he's in Florida. There's not too much shrinkage.
Found Fred Terzio. What's up? Welcome in, buddy. Listen,
Terzio's
ton of stuff
back.
to talk about.
Terzio,
Producer Joe,
jokes.
let's go ahead and get this bad boy started. Boom.
Do it.
Speaking of
And there we go. Keith. Speaking of, go ahead.
Speaking of,
I was just gonna say, speaking of shrinkage, how about them bigger bags we got going on the field today?
Shrinkage. That's not a subject that was on our rundown
we talked
here.
about cold and glory holes and shrinkage.
Oh, whoa.
all the ones you brought up.
Mama Farace,
By the way.
welcome in. All right, so manager announced that he's going to put Escobar in left field on Tuesday. Is that a fact?
Yes, and he's going to be playing left field in the WBC. So that's a topic we're going to get into a little later, aren't we?
Absolutely. That's a little tease in action. I really wish we had a beautiful, nice little song to play as we got the show started today. But you know, we don't always have to.
You mean like a song to like say, hey, like we're back and we're happy to be here, kind of thing.
Oh,
Wow.
On cue. Good
He might be
producer
playing
Joe.
that himself.
Rudy, welcome on in. All right, so that worked out well. All right, okay, ring around the rosy. Pocket full of posy. All right, so like I said, plenty to talk about today. We got a quick off-season refresher. We've got the whole deal with the World Baseball Classic. Get into some of the new rules. A little bit of position battle at third base potentially, and one of the former anti-Mets had some nice things to say about our current owner, as they all should, because they're in it for bringing the money. First
Who
off,
dat?
that was a guy that you know and well not know, at least respect a little bit, and then Freddie Freeman.
Must not be belt then.
Oof. I noticed that was not, when we were talking about topics for the day, I felt that producer Joe was like 1 through 10 was going to be Beltron. But before we do get started, do want to do a little cheers to Tim McCarver, who passed away recently at the age of 82. So Matt announcer,
He's got an
phenomenal
incoming missile
catcher.
or
Yeah,
747.
is there a missile coming? Don't mess around with missiles these days.
Yeah. The
Ding,
new
ding.
term of the day,
That's the
ICBM.
dinner bell.
Cheers,
Producer
Tim
Joe.
McCarver. Good old Channel 9 days. I miss you, buddy.
Him and Kiner.
Rest in peace.
As much
Great.
as harsh he was as an announcer because of his really he had a good game in-depth analysis when he was calling games, but anytime he announced a Met game after his Channel 9 days and all that, he was always very kind to the Mets. He
Always.
had the Mets in his heart a little bit, I felt, and he'll be missed. He was a great analyst and announcer. Rest in peace, Tom.
Personal catcher, not catchers. Personal catcher to some a couple of the greatest pitchers in Carlton and
Gibson.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I believe it. I mean, he was quite the analyst, so I'm sure he knew the game very well on the field as well.
Sorry, Terzio. Stop. We'll get there. So he made lasting remark. People call him the greatest color commentator of all time. I didn't know that was had ever been talked about. But the one big famous deal was with Deion Sanders when McCarver called him out for playing both a baseball game and a football game the same day, but being late to the postseason baseball game. And that's not the way things should be. And then that threw the ice in McCarver's face. He went after him in the clubhouse. Good old Deion, good old coach, good old prime time.
Never a fan of prime time.
Yeah,
I got stories about that, but save it for another podcast. We got a lot to talk about today.
All right. So off season. You there, Rodriguez? You talked about when you were bringing up topics. Met sign, right? So it seemed as though everybody every big name player from this country or any other country was in play, for the Mets. And again, we're not exactly used to this, but it was pretty fun to be in on every single person over the offseason.
It's nice to have money. It's nice to have money and be able to spend it and have an owner who's a fan. Because when you have an owner who's a fan, he's going to try and get everyone. I mean, notwithstanding the Carlos Correa deal, which happened to be a good thing, I guess, because the guy's hurt. So the other team wants to take a chance on him. The Twins want to take a chance on him. Go ahead. That's fine. We don't have to. We have a couple of young guys that can take his spot.
We were not desperate.
We're not desperate. We signed Senga. We lost Taiwan. Okay. Right there, that's okay. We'll see what happens.
But we lost him to Philly. Let's remember that.
Well, that's the problem. And we also have another one of our ex pitchers in Los Angeles, that little blonde
we got X's all over the country now.
We got X's all over. You know what? And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's not. Depends when the money's due at the end of the month and you got to pay for that kid. It's not that good. However, we've done well. We've replenished our rotation, man. We got Justin Verlander. We got Senga. We got the lefty from Quintana. I mean, dude, we're solid. We replaced ourselves. We can sign anybody we want whenever we want, and that's major.
If you had to pick the top two signings, whether it be free agency or re-signing of this offseason, who would you say is the top two?
I'd say Verlander. Mm-hmm. I'd say Verlander 100% because you have to have another ace in case Mad Max goes down. And I don't want to say it, but I am going to say it. Nimmo. I'm gonna have to say it.
No, I mean he's a big signing. I mean, and it's really
he. I'm not even talking about his skill set. I'll be honest, Keith. His skill set to me is fairly average. Honestly, it's he hits 15 to 20 home runs. You know, he'll bat 270. You know, he gets on base. Great. He gets on base at a better pace than other guys, but his skill set is average. But he's a Met, and you could just hear him slowly become a leader on this team after he signed that contract.
you can sign talent, but you can't sign passion.
This is me. Right. Absolutely. And you can't sign that drive that he has where he runs to first base every time. The kid is phenomenal. So he was a very key signing to keeping the young guys, because he's a little bit older than the younger guys. He can keep them in check a little bit.
Yeah.
He's about 30 now, right? So
and his glove has made some strides, improvement.
He's been positioned better. They position him better,
and his jumps are better.
Coaching has a lot to do with that, I'm sure. But yeah.
Well, you can jump better from when you're playing deep than when you're playing front. If you're playing front, you got to jump back. Not many people can do that. To come in, it's a lot easier. So a guy like him, you know, he has speed. He just doesn't have that burst. You know, his speed.
Which is why the first step is important, and the positioning is very important.
Yep.
And
I mean, look at Ricky was still stealing 30 at 40 years old. So it's about knowing how to steal it at a certain point. So hopefully he picks up that talent from some of the other players and coaches. Well, yeah. I mean, Ricky Henderson's one of my all-time favorite players. But what about you, Farace? Top two off the top of your head?
Verlander is for sure, because we needed to replace, or actually more than replace.
Don't do it.
Somebody who was outbound.
Yeah.
Somebody who went outbound over the winter. And then, Nimmo is really, really important, but I'm not gonna for the sake of going a different route here. It was I'm gonna go pitching both ways here. Is the Azúcar signing Diaz early. That was huge. That was key. He never even got to free agency. Steve Cohen says, you ain't going nowhere. You are going nowhere. You ain't even going to test it. So I mean, locking down, the best closer in baseball, I think, was big.
That's a pretty good deal.
There we go.
Hey. Oh,
for me, it's definitely number one is definitely Diaz, especially in this day and age with how short pitchers go and with the age of our top pitchers. Having that closer there is super important. I'm going to say number two. It's a little different. I'm picking Ottavino for number two because of how key he was and instrumental he was to that bullpen last year in getting us towards Diaz. Verlander is super important, obviously, because we had to replace, a potential Cy Young winner when he's healthy. And the only option, and it could be potentially better option, was Verlander. So him being one or two makes 100% sense. But for me, it's all the bullpen pitching. I think that was really key, and I think that's going to play a big part in what we do this year. And I mean, we can go down that list, right? But Kodai is amazing. But those are my top.
We don't know yet,
right?
Knock on wood. But that ghost pitch and that athlete's logo sent him
it looks nasty.
The ghost pitch neon, and they even mentioned them on the air on SNY the other day. They I forgot what which one that they showed. All right, so catching up on the comments. John, who? That's not right. Nope.
John Perry.
That can't be.
Who's the catheter for the Mars game?
I'm sure. Well, I don't know. Jaime, what's going on, my friend? Robinson was a huge, also a very big, good pickup.
Who's administering the catheter?
Rico.
I mean,
that's importante. Here we go, Mr. Boulay. I think we need to extend Darren Ruff. He's close. I saw today that he's close. He's close to coming back. He's gonna fill some voids while others go to the World Baseball Classic. How smooth of a transition was that? Huh?
You know how perfect that is for Archie? It's the perfect thing to do because when they come back, they kick them to the minors. As soon as they come
Yeah.
back, oh, you had your
Get
time. You had your time.
Yeah,
You
is this a GM pride thing where I made the trade and it was the right thing to do, so we're gonna hold on to this guy until he proves me right? Or is it just that we don't know what else to do with him?
Well, Epler said that the sample size of him hitting in his career against lefties, he's going to trust that more than the month and a half, 2 months that he gave us. But is this our 25-minute fourth outfielder talk? Is this where we get into that? Are we?
No.
Let's not
Not a whole lot to
we
say about
did.
that.
All right, wait.
Listen, the guy
Hold on. You see what you did? Who did that? Boulay. Don't mention Darren Ruff on the show ever again.
Darren Ruff stinks. That's really the only way to put it. He's got a lot to prove, and I don't think he should continue if you don't prove it. End of discussion. Next fourth outfielder. Talk about Tommy Pham.
All right, players that are participating in the World Baseball Classic from the New York Mets: Pete Alonso, Team USA.
No.
Adam Ottavino, Team USA.
No.
Jeff McNeil, Team USA.
No.
Francisco Lindor, Puerto Rico. Edwin Diaz, Puerto Rico. Mark Vientos, Nicaragua. Is that it? That's it.
I worry most about the pitchers. I'm just going to throw that out there real quick because spring is for them to work on their stuff, extend their arm, get their stamina going. And I know there's some limitations in the WBC to prevent injury and stuff, but I worry about them going out there and pitching like it's a playoff game if we get down to like a championship series in the WBC.
It is just as important as a playoff game to the competitors fighting for their country is
right.
what I'm...
A position player is a position
player.
It
needs to be with us. Right here, guys. Right here.
I would definitely play hard. I wouldn't let him. That would have been on their contract. You cannot go play. I don't care.
How could you? This is MLB.
Dude, this is the match, bro. We haven't.
Well, or Cohen could have given a bonus to not go play just under the table.
That's Ricky Bonus. He's in Washington now. Oh, you mean
Ricky
with
Bonus
a U?
He's actually coaching for Puerto Rico. He's the pitching coach for Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I'm sure Joe
Matt Harvey
playing for the Italian team for Piazza.
Jaime says, I thought Vientos was Dominican and Puerto Rican descent. According to this on MLB, it's he's represented Team Nicaragua. Vientos was born in the United States with Nicaraguan heritage. That's it. All right, so obviously there's a fear, there's a potential for injury out there. We know producer Joe, he's got his thoughts on it. And I think we all kind of agree, but no sense in fighting it. Let's root them on as they go. And those games, some of those games are some of the most entertaining games that you can go to.
Listen, I'm rooting for Team Puerto Rico no matter what. I don't care. But I just don't want him to get hurt. I'd be really upset if he got hurt stretching himself out.
Freddie, what's going on? Mr. Boulay, personally, I think it's a bad idea to have this classic during the season. Do it in December, January. So more like during the like the Dominican League season and that kind of stuff. Yeah. Good job, Terzio. Terzio says, what heritage does Harvey have with the Italian team? He's got better heritage with Colombian cocaine. Is there a wife joke? Are you out of wife jokes? Come on, you got to hit it.
I know. What's with Terzio? That's his thing, wife joke. Exactly. He's dead.
All right, so let's jump back a little bit to what Terzio said earlier, because it's within the realm of our next topic, and it's the new rules. You may or may not have seen that bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, Braves game. Here's my quick thoughts on it. It's the first weekend of the brand new rules. People are getting used to it. They're at that point in the game, ninth inning, it's minor leaguers versus guys who are attempting to make the team maybe early on. This year, during the World Baseball Classic, they ramp up a little bit more. But you guys help me out here. Do you do you think that this is going to be a big issue moving forward, or are these grown men and guys like Max Scherzer has come forward and said, I already know how to play mind games with the hitters with this clock. So as a pitcher, Rodriguez, I'm sure we've talked about this, but you can mess with timing of hitters now, even more so. And so, do you think that it's like Terziо said, bottom of the ninth in Game 7 of the playoffs, and somebody misses it by a second, and they're going to call it?
Yeah, well, if they should abide by the rules no matter what, right? If they're calling it,
or do you think that the grown men can get used to it in 6 months?
You absolutely can get used to it, and you can use it to your advantage, just like Scherzer said, bro. That's exactly what I would do. I would pitch to my strength. See, I would pitch just like Joe, just like producer Joe does. I would do that all the time. Okay, next topic.
Keith, all right, so some of the other rules, bigger bases, I know that they look a little bit different to us at the moment, but do you think that lends to some more stolen bases, a little bit more excitement? What do you think on that?
I think they look goofy, but I actually like the bigger bases because I think it's going to help prevent certain injuries. Injuries has been on a downtick, but right, it's going to allow players to feel a little more, ready to steal a base and not feel like they're going to get stepped on or break a leg or it's going to allow the game to open up a little bit in that aspect, and I'm okay with that. In terms of the pitch clock, I love the idea of the pitch clock speeding up the game a little bit. I don't like the fact that a World Series game can end on a pitch clock violations, i.e., the Braves Boston game the other day. Little concerned about that, but like players need to adjust, and if you're in a World Series game and you're not in a box in time, then you're an idiot. But no, it's true.
No
But
more.
I mean, it's just the fact that a game can potentially end that way. It's a little troubling to me. I think it also changes a little bit of the strategy of the game. I think it gives pitchers a little bit more of an advantage, and it gives the batters need to adjust, which also worries me because half these multi-million-dollar paid players couldn't adjust to turning their body and hitting a ball in a gap where people left the whole left side of the infield open for them.
Mhm.
But let's let the season play out before I really throw down my judgment. That's my upfront concerns right now, I guess.
Okay. All right. And then so here's the thing with the pitch clock, the average game, and it's just over the weekend, but it happened last year in AAA. But average time of game is about 30 minutes less, and it's not. People are like, "Oh, we're losing some baseball stuff." No, we're not. We're losing all the dead time in between. That's the whole point of this. And then even with the shift, I love it. I think it's going to bring so much more excitement, a lot more first to thirds instead of, the shortstop, catching a line drive.
But I
20
just hate
feet.
the fact that it was changed because batters would not adjust. It should have changed because batters were smacking it in those big holes, not because we're saying, oh well, it's unfair and pull hitters are constantly getting out. Well, learn to hit the other way. You paid $5 million, $10 million, $15 million, $500,000 to hit a baseball. Learn to hit it the other way. If a team gives you the whole entire left side or right side of an infield and you don't learn to hit it there, you're an idiot. I don't know what else to say. I
A
mean,
lot of idiots out there.
yeah, and I
So
wish the game would have evolved based off the batters evolving, but they just said, "Well, I'm just going to continue my same exact approach, go up there and attack the same exact way that hasn't worked for the last 4 years." I don't quite understand it, but
well, it is what it is. I'm happy that it happened. I don't care what the reason is. It's going to bring more excitement to the game, first to
it
third,
will. It will.
more
I'm not
stolen
upset. I'm
bases.
not upset in general about it, but I just wish it changed by evolution and not by force. That's really what it is.
Yeah. So that's it. And then obviously, in big shift situations, you're seeing just normal stuff. Vogelback base hit through the right side, which would have been a little tapper into short right field for the out at first. So those types of things will be a little bit different. Jaime says it gives a little bit of an 80s feel of baseball with more stolen bases, no shift.
Yep, I agree. The golden era. The last golden era.
One other thing with the World Baseball Classic, these rules don't go into play. So our guys who are going to play at the World Baseball Classic will not have to play with these rules, which isn't great because you're trying to get used to them. So that's it. I guess that's another downer, W downer on the World Baseball Classic.
Is there any known reason why the Baseball Classic doesn't happen in like early February, leading into? Because I mean, I think they play mostly Caribbean fields or Florida, stuff
like
like
San
that, right?
Diego, South Florida.
Right. So I mean, wouldn't it make more sense to have these players play in February and come into spring training clean and ready to go? I think the owners should have a say in that, but I really don't know the politics behind that.
Maybe I'll just throw this out there, and then we'll move on. But maybe it is more of there are still unsigned free agents come that maybe a little bit earlier, and they don't want to take the chance on getting hurt and not getting a contract. I'm just throwing it out there.
And they shouldn't play. Give the college kids a chance.
Oh, college kids again with the kids.
We're looking at 80s, right? We had Canseco. I think we had Canseco and McGuire on.
This is not just that, though. It's the whole world would have to adjust to that. But move all that shit around. Speaking of the world, one thing that I heard talking about today is that within the next year or two, you can be anywhere in the world and watch whichever announced team that you'd like. No blackouts, none of that stuff. Mr. Bowahan, what's up? Welcome back. So looks like over the next year or two, blackouts thing of the past. I don't think that we really have to say whether or not we like that or not. That's fantastic and great. Yeah. And just great for the game. So that's a step forward, Manfred. That's one of,
And when was that?
Took you long,
I heard it today that they were during the Met game on ESPN that they were working towards within the next year or two getting rid of all blackouts. Yeah. All right.
Fantastic.
So if there's one position battle on the team, it looks like it's third base right now. Baty has come out batying. And Escobar, Escobar didn't have to, he came on strong during the second half of the year. But there was a time there where we were like, all right, get a move on. I like the fact that Baty gets an opportunity here, a home run the other night. Do you see Ricky Chili Rodriguez? Do you see it? Do you see Baty having a legitimate shot at taking this job from him?
100%, bro. All he has to do is hit and play decent defense, and he's got the job. They want to start him. They want him to take the job. They want to put Escobar in at third, at short, at second, in the outfield. Because he can play all these positions. They want to do that, but they have to be sure that Baty's going to be a solid player. There you go.
Very good. Keith. Now, Rodriguez answered, is there a chance? But how overwhelming do you think Baty has to be in order to make the team out of camp over a veteran like Escobar?
Well, I mean, he's going to get a shot right now because Escobar is going to be playing the WBC, right? So let's see. I think he needs to show some consistent power, consistent base hits, consistent base running, and specifically even more so, like Rodriguez said, consistent leather. If he does that, we may be looking at a platoon situation.
Like leather pants?
Yeah, like leather chaps, assless chaps, to speak. Yeah, so like when he bends over to pick the ball and Escobar's in left field, Escobar gets the balloon, not view. So yeah, I think he really needs to flash some leather. I mean, you started the conversation, and obviously I'm going to run with it. He really needs to flash some leather at third base to impress. We know he can hit. I think it's his glove that we worry about the most.
Yeah. Where did Jaime? Yeah, it's for sure. It's on MLB app, SNY app. It's that's all over there. I want to go back a little bit into the comments here. I saw We're back. Anthony Joseph says, so this is along the lines of the third base. We know now that Manny Machado is not in the cards for us. What are your thoughts on Padres signing Manny Machado to an 11-year deal, and who you see Ohtani with being after this year? Look, it's the Ohtani thing. It's either I don't think he's staying there. It's either going to be the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers. I don't know what the Padres are thinking as far as do they want to spend more money, but it's going to be just 3 or 4 teams that are even going to be able to, request a conversation. Maybe the Cubs. I don't know. Any thoughts on that? But yeah, Padres I mentioned. Just the freer spending teams. Chicago, they haven't been spending a lot of money. The Dodgers, you never count that. Terzio says
he's going to go to a big market team.
Yeah, and LA has a good shot, right? Because maybe he wants to stay where he already has established himself personally, where he lives and everything. So,
but he has a very good relationship with Mr. Billy Epler, so that there's a potential there. At least the conversation will be able to be had. If this was 6 years ago, it'd be like
Verlander and Ohtani. Scherzer, Verlander, and Ohtani.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to think.
Talk about for life further.
Yeah, Baty could be in AAA there, Tom. If he plays like crap, if he plays well, he's winning the position.
Yeah,
want him there.
What about Ronnie?
Keith, that was a great point that you made. That Escobar is going to be out, in the World Baseball Classic. So, Baty's going to have run of third base. So he's going to get more reps. It's up to him now. It's balls in his
he's
court.
Got a real opportunity right now.
So, Mauricio, Vientos. So now you Mauricio with 2 bombs in 2 games. Both about 110 miles an hour off the bat. He's bulked up, put on some pounds. Rodriguez, Mauricio, Vientos. Where do they fit? Do you see one as will be playing for the Mets? One will be traded. What do you think? Or both capped or both traded? What are your thoughts?
Well, no, I think they're both going to still be on the team because they're going to take Mauricio
in
the outfield. They're going to put him in the outfield. Hey, big guy, Cowbell. They're going to put him in the outfield, and then they're going to keep Vientos as an outfielder /DH /filling guy because Vientos can play third, he can play first, he can play outfield, and Mauricio becomes a starter because he's got star potential, man. He won the MVP of the Dominican League, and you have some serious players there.
Embarrassment of riches.
Can't complain, man.
Nice.
Keep them coming.
Embarrassment of riches. All right, Keith, you have a quick Brooklyn Water coffee in you?
Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters. Wow, it's been a while. I'm gonna do this.
You have a quick Brooklyn Water coffee in you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do this from the coffee. BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com, from their roastery to your front door. Only the finest and most purest coffee beans
keep both eyes open.
Are picked and hand selected for your distinct pleasure. If you want to try these beans and pleasure yourself, go to www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com and try one of their wonderful flavors. There's our favorite flavor is dark roast dark chocolate. It's a delicious chocolate.
Oh, now it's our favorite flavor. Oh, look who loves dark chocolate now.
I really don't. I'm just trying to be a company man, I guess. It's a dark roast, chocolatey flavored coffee, and it's got chocolate in it. So you got to watch how much you drink, right, Farace? Because it has how many calories?
Same percent chance as any other team in baseball winning the World Series this year, besides the Mets. Settle.
What? So yeah, and there's a ton of other flavors out there. My favorite is Cinnabuzz. I also love Morning Wood, delicious. A lot of great flavors out there. Check them out now. Do we still have the code?
Yes, we do.
If you use the code Pop Culture Pros on your checkout,
he remembered it. Bam! Look at you.
Check out with 3 bags. tea
Look at that.
bags, 3 bags. Who wants to get tea bags?
See?
Treat him.
Your third bag of coffee
Don't be
is
nice to
free.
him.
So you get your 2 favorite flavors. They also have, of course, non-flavored coffee, but get your 2 favorite flavors, and with that free bag, try out something new. www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com, from the roastery to your front door. Again, only the finest beans are hand selected for your distinct pleasure. So go pleasure yourself and get a cup of coffee.
Ooh. Terzio, way to bring the mood down here. Best in the world in his mind. That came from Mama Farace. Yeah. You know, I apologize, but I don't have the guy's name who passed away, former Met minor leaguer at 31 years old from a heart attack. I don't know. Sorry, Terzio. What was his name? Put me in bad spot here, Terzio. I'm gonna get canceled. All right, moving right along. We'll get his name, but MLB Network just did the top 100 players. Georgie, of 2023, and we have 8 guys in the top 100. Houston, we're tied with them, so obviously this means Houston Mets World Series this year, and of course the Mets are going to take it. Mets in 5. Braves, Phillies, Blue Jays, 7 guys in that top 100, and then the Yankees and the Padres have 6. So real quick, running down the Mets: Starling Marte at 61, who could have a nice stolen base year, you know, with the bigger bags. Brandon Nimmo at 54. Mr. Diaz comes in at 51. Jeff McNeil, the squirrely hit machine, is number 45.
Batting champion.
The batting champ, baby. Pete Alonso comes in at number 31. Big boy Pete at first base. Bing, 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 bing. Our shortstop, who we were all ready to bury the first year, Francisco Lindor. Me, no.
Yes,
at 21. Ding, ding, ding. Max Scherzer comes in at number 15. 21. He with the 2 colored eyes. And the latest acquisition to the New York Metropolitans, Justin Verlander, comes in at number 14. So he immediately becomes our best player. There it is.
2 top 20 pitchers. Wow.
Which is not even, those aren't, 2 pitchers in the top 20. So there's not, I wonder where.
What I just said.
No. You said 2 top 20 pitchers. They're 2 top 5 pitchers, but they're top 20 overall in baseball players.
Okay, you really didn't back out of that well.
Sorry. Wait, but
you said we
somebody
have 2 top 20 pitchers. You said that's not what I said. I said we have 2 pitchers in the top 20.
Yeah.
And
those are 2 different things.
Top 5, and you went
if you have 2 top 5, if you have 2 top 20 pitchers, they could be 19 and 20. But I said those are 2 pitchers in the top 20 players, but 2 top 5 pitchers.
Oh.
Yeah, good. Old brains catch up.
This is why we have these things and just do that to ourselves when you got people like this.
Well, if you guys can't understand that, I mean, all right. Keith, what about you, Mauricio Vientos, who plays for the Mets, who gets traded? Does any of that happen? What goes on?
This is tough, because I think really out of the 2 really talented kids, I think of the 2, and who the hell knows, I could be completely wrong, right? But I think Mauricio has the bigger upswing. But where do we play this kid? He's an infielder, right?
Somebody's knocking?
Producer Joe.
You there, Joe?
Is that Keith knocking? Somebody fall?
Hey.
Everything okay?
What's up?
Every time he does that, I think of...
Move it along.
No, I think of... what's the name?
Hector Salamanca.
Salamanca.
Yeah, so I think we need to start teaching this kid to play other positions, obviously outfield. But it's getting crowded out there too, because that's our solution for everything. Since our infield's so locked up, everybody's going to start playing the outfield now.
162.
Which to my next point is Vientos.
We only have 4 outfielders.
Right, but I'm talking about like up and coming, right? So we want to put Vientos. Where's he going to play? I don't know. Let's put him in the outfield. Mauricio, where's he going to play? I don't know. Let's put him in the outfield. Beatty, where's he
Learn
going
him.
to play? I don't know. Let's teach him the outfield. How about Escobar? Let's teach him the outfield. So
I do know. Put him in the outfield.
right, but I'm saying we have a lot of
Do know.
people we're
Put him in
putting
the
out there. So let's see how that turns out. But my
He's too
point
big.
is,
He's too big to be a shortstop.
my point is, he's 6'3", right? I agree. But my point is, one of these guys I think can potentially be, and it'll probably end up being Vientos, a trade bait for some kind of big piece for a late postseason push. Probably a pitcher. Who knows? Let's see.
Yeah. We'll see what the need is, or if they're. I mean, about the trade deadline.
Vientos will be gone with the wind.
Gone with the wind.
You know, I hope not. But if we're going to acquire a player that's going to give us that little extra push to get us deep into the playoffs, then see ya.
Yeah,
I want a championship.
Especially
I'm a starving Met fan. So.
Well, listen.
Yeah, there's no
the
heart.
trade
There's
deadline.
no heart there, Keith. If the kid's got to go, the kid's got to go.
Just at the end of the day, you know,
Right,
we can
that's how
avoid
it
it,
works,
yes. But
Farace.
when it comes to the World Series,
I used
Watch
to
your
say
mouth.
trade prospects, and I used to get hated on.
right? But back then we sucked and we needed players to come up.
Championship.
Oh yeah, where are they?
What?
We already had Alonso. Who else has come up? Marte.
No, here we go.
Lindor.
Keith, why
No,
you bring
no,
them
no,
into
no,
it?
no,
Don't
no,
you
no,
think
no,
you're gonna
no,
get
no.
upset again.
I'm not upset at what would I be upset about? Trade. Let's get a World Series. I don't give a shit who gets traded.
I wouldn't trade Mauricio though. I would not trade.
Are you crying?
No,
Definitely.
Vientos goes
Are you
first.
crying?
What if it's both for and then some for Ohtani at the deadline?
No, I don't think we trade for Ohtani. It's going to cost way too much. You
No.
just wait for free agency and
Dude,
see
we
how that
got
pans out.
we can sign him. We don't have to trade for him. We don't have to lose talent for him. We
What-
can
but
sign
what-
him.
What if I don't mean
What
to
if we
say that
sign
we're
him
the
the
only
next
team.
the week after that he hurts himself? I mean, shit. Well, stuff could happen, but can't
No,
go
but-
on what ifs.
Okay, so let me just say that
I'll trade him. Trade
We're
him.
not.
Trade him.
Rodriguez, finish off the show for us. If you want to host. I'm saying is that there's going to be other teams involved, I'm sure, and if it's the Yankees or if it's the Red Sox or if it's Dodgers, Padres, they might say let's trade and then we sign him. So it's not always guaranteed that you can just straight up sign the guy. If another team,
I
trades
don't
for him.
care for him, honestly. I don't really care if we sign Ohtani or not.
Yeah,
think it's too much money.
I'm not excited. Like, we might get
Don't
Ohtani,
embarrass us that we don't want Ohtani. Don't say
No,
that.
I
on
never
the
said
show.
I don't want him.
I didn't say I
No,
didn't
no,
want him. I said I don't care if we sign him or not.
Right. I don't think
Ohtani.
signing him is going to be what puts the Mets to that next level for the next 10 years, right? I just don't think so. What's it going to cost?
5 years, maybe.
Because
How old is he?
you got to sign this
Are
guy.
we back to worrying about money again?
How old is he? You always have to worry about money. There's a budget, man. It's a business.
Oh, okay.
Right, but let's say he gets injured. The guy is 28 years old, right? He's going to
Oh, that's it?
That's it. He's young, but he's going to want what, a 12-year contract?
I thought he was older.
I don't want to sign a guy for 12 years.
Yeah, let's screw Ohtani. Screw
No,
Ohtani.
I'd sign him. I'll sign him for 5. Next 5 years. 40 million, 200 million. Give him 200 million straight up cash.
Straight up cash. Make it
Right to the
rain.
bank. Right to the bank and just put him in his hotel room. There you go. 200
He
million.
only, listen, in the last 2 years, the guy only hit 80 home runs, 195 RBIs. And he pitches, and his pitching stats really are kind of not that great. He's only had a 2.33 ERA last year and a
He's real
3.18 the year before. So, like, who wants that?
That's why I would just give him straight up cash. I just throw money.
And then
right
and the
in
Angels are
front.
gonna be
I'll
and the
make him
Angels are
swim
gonna
out.
wind up being under 500 again with Ohtani and Trout
Yeah, that's the problem with the Angels. Yeah, I think he's going to probably not sign
and the
with
drugs
Mets.
too. That was a problem too for them.
If the Mets signed him, obviously I'm going to be super happy about it.
And,
but
and if you think they're gonna trade for just Vientos and Mauricio, you're out of your mind. There better be another 3 guys on that.
George
on
said
that.
sign Ohtani and Soto.
Who? What do you mean? Oh, I said and then some.
Oh, and then some. Okay.
Yeah.
Like George's suggestions, or Otani and Soto.
Do it.
Sure.
Mhm.
Sure. There. See
Do it,
there.
babe.
There's where everyone just goes nuts.
All right. Well, obviously, players around the league are loving what's going on with the Mets, loving that the owner is all into it. Even though baseball now wants to open up some type of not investigation, but so what was it? I forgot what they called it, but a team that's going to oversee spending habits and that kind of stuff. Oh, the Mets finally start spending money, and here we go. But they did mention the Padres too. But Freddie Freeman, huge star in the league, all-star, consummate professional, is out here saying he's loving what the Mets are doing. He's loving what Steve Cohen's doing, and that more owners kind of should be in line with that. It's good that, for me, it's good that a star comes out and says that. Everybody else was being quiet, and Cohen tax and this other nonsense. George says, "Wah, cheap owners like the Wilpons." I mean, we know about that.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Cheap owners like the Wilpons. Here's the deal: Cohen is putting so much money into his team, and beyond that, he's putting so much money into the baseball tax, the payroll
would have done
tax.
the same.
He's pouring money into these other teams who don't spend. And if you don't spend, what these players are doing? They're pocketing money. Have you heard Brian Reynolds, what they did to him in Pittsburgh? They offered him a deal. I think it was 6 years, 80 million. He goes, "No, I want 6 years, 140." For a player like Brian Reynolds, 6 years, 140 in this day and age and market is really not a bad price. And they denied him. And he said, "You know what? I want to trade." So you know what the Pirates are doing? They're not spending their money. You know what they're doing? They're taking all this baseball payroll tax and they're putting it in their pocket, and they're cheating their fans, and they're cheating Major League Baseball of quality competition. So
Like what the Marlins used to do.
screw those crybaby, owners. That we never cried so much with Wilpons that when they're everybody's spending too much. No, we always said when the Wilpons are cheap ass jerks.
We're
who
not
are
spending the way a
cheating
New York
fans.
team should. That's
Right.
what we were in. A little bit of. I mean,
So,
they tried. They signed guys, but
Speaking of Brian Reynolds, I mean that's not a bad
That's
pickup.
not true. We complained about Steinbrenner. We bitched about him all the
I
time.
never bitched about it. Maybe you did.
That's not true. The
Never
Mets.
bitched
But
about
I-
well, no, let me say I bitch about Steinbrenner, but not how much he's spending. I bitch more that Wilpons did not even try or attempt to spend, and when they did spend, they spend stupid.
well, I don't want to talk about that team. But they're worried about the Mets. Will look at the Texas. What? Terzio, they're worried about the Mets. Will look at the Texas. I don't know. I don't know what that says. Sorry.
He's
Rodriguez.
saying, what the Texas has done besides San Diego.
I see. Producer Joe put, of course, Freeman loves it. Players stand to gain. But what I was saying is that he's the only Players Association guy that I mean, he already got his bag. I mean, he already got his
I know.
extension from the Dodgers.
True, and it wasn't a small thing that he did come out and speak in favor of it. I know, and not his team, not his owner, and I was a little surprised to read it myself. But by the same token, he does realize that the players overall do stand to benefit in the long run.
Oh, for sure.
The
Oh,
owners
facts.
open up and start to behave the same way. But I mean,
Yeah, he's a big union rep, right, Joe?
I
Freddie
mean,
Freeman.
truthfully, they should. I mean,
Yeah.
Steve Cohen is setting an example of what owners should be like. You know,
The other owners are starting to consider asking for things to be done. The collective bargaining agreement just got signed. We just went through this, and now some of them are starting to talk about wanting a salary cap. And the Players Association already said we're not ever saying okay to a salary cap. Don't do it.
That will never happen. MLBPA is way too strong. NFLPA gets stepped on a lot. MLBPA does not. MLBPA controls a good portion of what happens. The owners get some things that they want, but
Tony Clark.
way would a baseball cap come in. And
look at what Terzio just said. The teams that are not spending the money. There's a specific clause. I saw, I don't know, Farace, I think you posted it. The specific clause that says you must spend this luxury tax money
Yeah.
for the betterment of your team.
The
And-
Marlins got in trouble for that years ago.
Yeah, they literally don't. I mean, how
Yeah,
many
but
of
what they
them
could do,
don't?
Joe, is they can take what's coming in and spend it, and take what they should add to that in addition to what would be profits. Um, and put it in their
But I
pocket.
mean, the clause says that they must spend the
Mm-hmm.
luxury tax income that they receive to better the product on the field. It literally, that's the language of the contract. They have to take that cash they receive to directly better the product
Yep.
on the field, and they don't. And
Right,
that's
they don't.
where the league should start.
They don't do it.
Right
Yeah.
there. They should start right there and say, for all the owners that are complaining, let's start right there. You know,
Well, I mean, and Cohen put it best, Joe. He said, "Listen, I'm playing by the rules. If you don't like your rules, then why'd you create them?" You know, so it all comes down to, um, I guess, semantics, right? When you're taking our rules and stretching the boundaries of our rules, but staying within the laws of our rules, and we don't like it because we never intended our rules to do that. Oh well,
Well,
you know, too
I'm
bad.
just happy. I'm just glad that we're on this side of the
Yeah, I
luxury
mean,
tax thing.
let's be honest, right? If this was another team, not the Mets, we would be upset too. But the thing is, I think from my experience as a Met fan, my anger would be more towards, we're a big market team. Why are we not spending and acting like a big market team? And that was really my biggest complaint through the fucking crap pond era. Excuse my language. I dropped an F-bomb. Sorry, Mama Farace. But it was really my biggest issue through the crap pond era, because they were terrible. No, the Wilpons were terrible, man. They spent like
Oh.
Pittsburgh, and when they did spend big, it was bad. I mean, they had a couple good contracts, of course, Piazza, Beltran, things like that. But in general, their big contracts were just bad, and they were the constant try to find a diamond in the rough. Let's get everybody who's been DFA'd, find a diamond in the rough, sign a 40-year-old player who's trying to retire, find a diamond enough, just enough.
George, we covered that with the clocks. Go rewind. It's like the very beginning of the show.
We
we
mostly
talked
like
about
it. That's pretty much the summary.
Mostly. So for everybody in the chat and us here, the schedule has changed this year. That obviously, if we're out of town people like us in this box and behind and in that closet behind you, it impacts us more because the Mets are going to come down here. He's okay. He's going to be all right. Just a few more minutes, Joe. Like the Mets are going to come down here less, so we're only going to have 2 opportunities instead of 4, you know, within a series. What about Terzio? Did you renew your season tickets? You know, what's going on there? Jaime, you heading into any? Terzio did it, Rodriguez.
I agree, Terzio. Let's rock on, baby. That might be a topic for another podcast, though, because we're running up against it.
Yeah. We'll
we're gonna have a whole podcast devoted to the mole. It's
Next
called
year
the Mole Show.
Next year we should start. Next year,
the
next
Mole
week we
Show.
should start the topic, Carlos Beltran, and just see how it goes. And what else we fit in.
All right. So Terzio didn't do it this year. Did not get my tickets because I'll be in Colombia for the month of July. You going to Colombia for 2 months?
With your ex-wife?
First of all,
without his ex-wife, that's the point.
With that, yeah. Do they have the sufficient connection to be able to tune in to forget about the Met games? Us. I'm worried about. Yes. Okay. A little faster than dial-up. All right.
Are you doing 90 Day Fiance, Frank? You found a new woman down there? What's up?
Again.
Yeah, George. Look. Good job, George.
Wow, 90 Day Fiance.
That's right.
As long as it comes with more jokes.
Let me know, because if you do 90 Day Fiance, we want a put in the book show shout out, like randomly fit into that show.
All right, let's get the hell up on out of here for this first episode. I think we nailed it all. We gave fantastic input. It was comedic for producer Joe. Boom, boom, ba-da. Crap pun. Any closing remarks tonight? That's you, Keith.
I would just like to say, let's go Mets. It's going to be an exciting year. I do feel a lot of people say we haven't, but I feel we've improved over last year.
Who said that?
If you look at, okay, nobody legitimate. We're talking about vlogs and
I'm
stupid
messing with you.
Facebook pages.
I
But
see it all over
yeah,
the damn place.
yeah, it's just.
God.
But for me, I
Damn
think we
Brazil.
definitely improved. I definitely think Verlander has a health history of pitching, and that's a big improvement over DeGrom. I think Max Scherzer is going to be a little bit more hungry this year. I think a lot of the players are a little more hungry. They had that little, that sweet tooth, that playoff taste last year, and they're going to be pushing that much harder. And I really think that it's going to be a magnificent year. It's going to be tough. We're in, I think, the hardest division in all of baseball with Craplana and the Filthies, but we will overcome, and it's going to be a great year. That's just really. Let me end it and just say it's going to be a great year. 2023 Mets.
Rodriguez, what you got?
What is it? We're just as good as last year, and with the potential to be better.
We're better.
And we won 101 games last year. What can you say about
103.
that? I mean, come on.
If you count the playoffs.
Yeah, don't count the playoffs. We should have won 102.
Really, just really quick, I wanted to say where'd the comment go? Sorry. Cowbell Man said the Mets are the Mets gonna go to a 6-man rotation. So I wanted to get your thought on that real quick at the very beginning. So this is going to be different than typical years because we don't have to worry about opening up in a cold climate with snow outs and rain outs the first few days. And you get, actually, it's Marlins, so there's no issues there. At Milwaukee, could potentially be some issues there, and then home. So you don't get a day off for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's really weird. 8 straight days with games to start the year for the Mets.
I just let out a really big burp. After my burp, I checked if I was muted. Just letting you know.
So Rodriguez, early on, would you potentially entertain
limit the innings on our top 3 starters? Okay, if Senga's one of the top 3 guys, you got to limit the innings on these guys. 2 guys are old. 1 guy hasn't pitched that many innings and is used to pitching once a week only. So limit the innings. Get Peterson and get Ty Lore. These guys, get them stretched out, get them ready in case there's any issues, and we're good. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Well, Bohan,
I wouldn't keep it for the whole year, though.
No. I'm not down with that. I meant as far as travel and storms is concerned, not losing the actual game itself while you're there. So go ahead, Rodriguez. I don't know if you finished your final thought, but I do want to get your say on that.
But basically, that's what I would do. I would just have these guys all get stretched out as starters in the beginning, so you could put the younger guys in. If it gets too cold and you don't want to start Mad Max or Justin Verlander, that's the key. And listen, like I said, we're good, man. We'll be.
And opening day is going to be either Scherzer, Verlander versus Alcantara.
Alcantara's a beast.
Future Met. He's a
beast. Well, Marte's on the team for sure. He's bringing him over.
Yeah, he's bringing him, baby. You want to knock in the closet, see if we can get a final thought out of producer Joe?
We're stronger than we were last year. We're better.
Damn right we are.
Last year.
Calm Joe sounds like he's getting ahead.
I just feel like we were a really good team last year, and we had some really rough stretches, and I just feel like we improved our pitching. God, this sounds sick. I mean, I know it sounds like sour grapes, but for the amount of innings we got out of Jake last year, I mean, we've addition by subtraction. I mean, I think we got a stronger ace in Verlander, and I know I said this in the chat, and I really meant it, and I mean it now. I wish him well. I hope he does well. I don't wish. No, don't give me that. I don't wish injury upon him. I hope he does well. I strongly suspect everything we've seen in the recent years is going to be a trend for the rest of his career. I don't think he's going to have a full season, and I'm sorry for that because he's incredible. He's the best in the game.
T for Trader.
That can't do it. You know,
We can call him Trader. Just let's
I
not
think
wish any ill will.
like
Joe
you know
said.
what, we can have a whole episode about it sometime, but I think we are in a stronger position now than we were, and I think it's going to be a fun season. Every year, hope springs eternal, and we always feel good about our team, and it always looks optimistic. But damn, man, we had a good team last year, and I think we look better this year. I hope we manage to keep the injuries at bay, and we're going to be okay.
Stay fresh, right, Joe? At the
Yeah.
end of the year. Yeah.
Well, let's go
Quick debate.
Mets. Yeah.
Cowbell says we have a lot better bullpen than last year. Yeah, on paper, absolutely. We just gotta, get going there. Yeah, listen, I don't even know why we're gonna bother playing this year. Listen, the Mets won 101 games last year, and the schedule is different now. I don't like that when they're doing the projections of win totals. The Mets are at 94.5, which is most in baseball. It tied with the Yankees, but these teams are going to win more games than they won last year because the Mets are not going to play the Braves 19 times. They're going to play some extra games against the Brewers, the Cubs, the Rockies, the Oakland, those types of games. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw 2 or 3, 4 teams win 105 to 110 games or so. Astros, Mets, Dodgers, Yankees, that the teams that are going to be not having to face those better teams in the division.
I think Jake comes to City this year. Should be interesting.
August. Everybody's got it circled. August.
He'll be wearing a cast, but he'll be there.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot. I got to give this to Frank, and this is for Jake, feeling a twinge already in spring training.
The horns of failure.
The baseball gods cannot punish you two, or you three. Rodriguez and Keith. They can't punish you without me for saying bad things about the guy who was outbound.
I'm speaking truth. He's
not
a
wishing
traitor.
anything on him. I hope he kicks ass.
I've seen what you've been posting, Keith.
We wish him well.
What I post about
funny joke injury stuff. MRI
machine.
machine.
Like that sign he was holding.
We don't
0 days since my last injury. That's
Stop
funny.
it. All right, let's get out of here. We'll talk to you guys next week when we have a little bit more spring training action under our belts, and actually, most of the team will be off to the World Baseball Classic.
Let's go, Daniel Murphy coming out of retirement. Amen. Have a good day, guys.
Peace out, everybody.
Put up the bunch!